For 8 straight years, the Toyota RAV4 has been the reigning best-selling compact SUV in the United States. And in 2024, it even topped the charts as the best-selling car overall. Now, Toyota is raising the bar once again with a full redesign for 2026. For 2026, they're launching the 6th generation of this compact SUV, and the 2026 RAV4 arrives with sharper focus on performance, technology, and versatility. Headlining the changes are the all-new trim levels, which includes hybrid power across the lineup, the Sporty GR, and the Woodland Edition, which we'll be covering today. We'll cover the GR and the Limited in a separate review. The Woodland Edition, it's a bit different, starting with rigid headlights. Those are right here in the grille. The grille is different. LED headlights are the standard across the lineup, and that includes taillights. This vehicle looks a little different with the matte black across the front. It has higher ground clearance by about an inch over the standard RAV4. And then if you go with the GR Sport, it's going to be slightly lower. And we'll cover, like I said, those separately. We're just focusing on the Woodland today. And you can see that these are all-wheel drive and they're off-road capable, which you may not expect when you're talking about a RAV4. When you're looking for a vehicle to go off-road, one thing you really need is cameras to see what you're driving over and make a decision on your off-road course. There is a front camera here, and that is very helpful, especially when you can adjust the different perfectly crystal clear cameras that are inside on that new center screen. For 2026, there are only 2 powertrains, hybrid and plug-in hybrid, no longer a gas version, so you get to choose which engine works for you. On the hybrid, it is available now. The plug-in hybrid will not be available until early 2026. A 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine that has a small battery pack. That's a 236 horsepower combined for the all-wheel drive. If you want the front-wheel drive, you're getting 226. If you go with that plug-in hybrid, the output boosts to 324 horsepower and 172 pound-feet of torque combined. Estimated 52 miles to the gallon if you decide to go with the PHEV. Otherwise, the regular hybrid is 44 miles to the gallon rated for the front-wheel drive. Towing capacity, well, if you're going to tow anything, the Woodland comes standard with Class 2 towing. That'll give you about 3,500 pounds of towing. If you're going with the front-wheel drive, you're only going to get 1,750 pounds of towing capacity. The Woodland Edition rides on an 18-inch wheel, but the tire has more sidewall, which is going to raise the whole body by about an inch. So you've got about 8.5 inches of ground clearance, which is better than the standard version of 8.1. And remember, if you're doing the GR, it's going to drop down to 7.5. You're going to get your shutters for underneath for airflow and, of course, skid plates. This vehicle is designed for off-road, not heavy off-road, but light off-road, and we did get a chance to test it. Coming around to the side, you're going to have additional protection on the Woodland Edition. Also, the mirrors fold in. There is no puddle lamps on this, but to denote a Woodland, black handles. It's the only one of all the trims that offers this little detail. On top, you've got roof rails that are really functional and a small glass roof. When you go to the Limited, it's a full glass roof. So it's important to know that is standard across the lineup. And you've got protection here along the bodywork to protect that very cool paint job. And of course, these very distinctive lines that are in the RAV4. But inside, there's a ton of changes. Inside, there are a ton of changes, starting with the seats. They're special for the Woodland. They have a special embossed pattern, orange and red details. Really nice, very off-roadable. What's interesting is all the brands are starting to make an off-road version. And what you're seeing is a lot of orange and red details denoting the fact that this is off-roadable. But remember, these vehicles need to stand out in the crowd amongst the other trim levels, and this does that. Starting with a 12.9-inch center screen that is new. The whole multimedia interface is much more intuitive than it was in the past, and a 12.3-inch flat digital cluster, which is customizable. So you can put the information you want, adjust your safety features, and again, if you just want to drive and see what's going on around, you can have great audio sound as well. Now, one of the things that's important to note is they really thought about who's using this car. So you've got a lot of soft materials that are easy to clean. When you get to the higher trim levels, you're looking at soft tech seating. In this case, it's about getting the dirt inside the vehicle. That's okay, which is not typical when it comes to a vehicle like this. So you've got a nice shelf here for putting your sunglasses, your keys, or whatever, a good-sized glove box, but there's even more storage. And again, they're thinking about who's using this vehicle. In this case, there's one wireless charge pad. On the Limited, there are 2. I wish they would offer it across the full lineup, but additional storage, more USB-C charge ports, and this vehicle has hill descent, it has traction control, you can press the camera setting, which is on the left side of the shifter, and you can get a crystal clear picture of what's going on around you because of the cameras. They've been improved as well for 2026. One of the things that's really interesting, we've seen this before with Toyota, how to open the glove box, one side or the other, push both at the same time and it comes out. I'm not really sure how that's going to last over the long haul, but what you get on the back side is a tray, a storage area. On this side, it's soft, and both still open one way or the other. Just thinking about who's using the vehicle. I've always liked the tilt one side or the other, but this, it's interesting. More charge ports, cup holders, of course. And if you're not in the Limited top trim, which has a little teeny weeny shifter, this is an actual shifter, which I personally like. You've got all of your controls are here. And when it comes to drive modes, you have your drive modes here, your EV mode here, because remember, every single engine is electrified. But you also have a trail and a snow and a normal mode here on the right. You press the button and it'll change everything in front of you. Very easy to use, very easy to clean. That's kind of important when you're taking a vehicle off-road. But one thing to remember, Safety Sense 4.0 is standard across the full lineup. You don't have to buy up for safety like you do in some of the competitors. The second row, well, there's a ton of flexibility. Comes with this all-weather mat that is removable in case you want to clean it or you just don't want it. Seats fold down 60-40. There are child safety seats in all 3 positions, which is nice if you've got a lot of kids. Pull down this armrest, and you've got 2 built-in cup holders, which is nice. Or if you don't want it, just put it away. Behind each seat, there's a pocket, 2 USB-C charge ports behind the center console, and vents. There's still a pull to get out of the vehicle, but there are no sunshades on the side. Storage are in the doors for cup holders, but overall, it's got that same interior with that nice embossed pattern. Lets you know you're driving a Woodland. If you decide to go off-roading, there is a 1500 watt connection right here for a wall outlet. So you can plug in a cooler, plug in some sounds if you're tailgating. But what's also nice is this Woodland mat. Very nice. It says RAV4, and underneath, there is a full spare tire, which is great because a lot of the competitors are offering tire inflation products. If you ever get stuck out on a trail, you want to be sure to have a spare tire. Storage is 37.3 cubic feet of storage with the seats up. Fold down those 2 seats and you're at 70 cubic feet of storage. So we're going into trail mode and we're pressing the cameras so you can see the sides and in front of us. And you can also, of course, see where we are driving. So we're going to start with a articulation just showing light off-roading. This is not obviously heavy off-roading. So we do 1 tire at a time, and there's skid plates underneath this you can hear. And it's just showing the capabilities of the Woodland Edition. And this is light off-roading, which I would say going over a speed bump at Starbucks, but that's what most people are going to do. All right, as you can see, it's beautiful. This is light off-roading, and this is typically what you will get when you're driving the Woodland. You're going to a trail, you're going hiking, you're going camping. You just want to hit a light trail and have some fun. So we're going to go on a rocky road and see the capabilities of the new RAV4 Woodland. So initially this is pretty easy. It's a rocky road. You take your time and look for areas that are sharp rocks that could cut your tires, which you don't want. And then when you get to the ravine, you have to kind of make a decision what you're going to do. So let's see what it can do. We're going to straddle this ravine because as we learned in our off-road school, that is supposed to be the best way to do that. 1 at a time, 1 tire at a time. You can see here that we are straddling the ravine, and you have to make an assessment. Is that the best way to go? Because the right would be I would hit those branches and damage the car. So you take this nice and slow, keep the momentum going, and it was able to do it with not much effort whatsoever. So it's good. So this vehicle is more capable than a regular RAV4, and certainly more off-roadable than the GR. And of course, we have those all in separate reviews. And we'll be covering this on our radio show, The Drive, with Lauren and Carl. You can find that online at The Drive Car Show. So we've driven some off-road trails here in Arizona with the Woodland Edition. They're not aggressive off-roads. It's light off-roading, and that's really what this vehicle is designed for. So while it still has that prowess that you want on the street, as in any RAV4, you're still going to get that higher seating position, that slightly higher ground clearance, so that if you do go off-road, you're going to be totally fine. Of course, you've got that Toyota safety sense system, and you have the cameras, which I'm pressing while I'm driving. You can see crystal clear cameras. And when you're in the off-road mode, you're going to be able to see what's going on around you so you don't find yourself getting into any trouble. Now, one of the things I love about the Toyota RAV4, 336,000 mile warranty. It has an 8-year warranty on the hybrid. And if you go with the plug-in, it's going to have that 100,000 mile warranty. One thing that's nice, Toyota includes 2 years of service with Toyota Care. That's up to 25,000 miles for basic maintenance. And that will help save you a few dollars. And I think that's one of the most important things when you're driving this vehicle, however you're using it, whether you buy the Core, the Limited, or the Woodland. So this is getting to be a very popular segment. People want that off-road look. Are they necessarily using it off-road? Probably not. But it's there if you need it. If you decide you want to do some light off-roading and you've never done it before, go find a group. You'll have a lot of fun. Not every area of the country has it, but you'll be thrilled when you try it and see how capable the vehicle is. Now, it does have pitch and roll and all the settings that you need here in your customizable gauge pod, which is 12.3 inches. 12.9 is the largest size that they offer. On the center screen, it's all new multimedia interface. You get all the information you need, and it has, hey Toyota, haha, take me to the hotel. Doesn't know which hotel. Oh, look at, there you go. And we are staying at the We-Ko-Pa Casino with Toyota as they generously brought us out here to test drive the full model line. And it's been an interesting day learning the changes for the RAV4, and it's running for North American SUV of the Year. There's a lot of competition. We've driven all the competitors. There's a lot of heavy competition in the SUV category. And whether it's a 3-row or a 2-row like this RAV4, you got to remember that you test drive all the vehicles, then check with your insurance agent before you make your final decision. Remember that we have reviewed all the competitors, which we'll list at the end, and you can find those all on our Car Smarts channel. All the news is on Car Coach Reports, and don't forget to check out our new radio show, The Drive with Lauren and Carl. It's on AM, FM. Also, you can find it on YouTube at The Drive Car Show, and we'll be talking to a lot of internals and executives here, not just from Toyota, but some interesting people that we come across in our everyday life in the automotive world that you're going to find pretty cool. All right, I'm going to continue driving, and I'm going to take this thing off-road again because there's a trail coming up, and you don't want to miss these opportunities when you're here, because where I live in Buffalo, we don't have off-road trails, but they do here in Arizona, and I'm going to take advantage of that. Coming around to the back, you've got this upper wing, and I really wish this wiper arm was tucked up underneath, especially when you're off-roading. You hit a tree or a branch, you don't want to tear it off. And if you live in cold weather using an ice scraper, these wiper blades are expensive. So hopefully Toyota will listen to us and they'll tuck that in underneath. But beyond that, you've got LED taillights, RAV4 here. The Toyota logo is in black. You've got this Woodland Edition logo here, very nice, and HEV and all-wheel drive, which is the only way the Woodland comes. One thing that is standard across the Woodland lineup is the Class 2 towing hitch. That means you can't haul a car, but you could take bikes, you could take ATVs, whatever it is that you need to haul that isn't too heavy, and that is because this is all-wheel drive, that's only going to give you about 3,700 pounds of towing. So it's important that you check that out before you make your decision, but that is standard across the lineup. The 2026 Toyota RAV4 has a lot of improvements, and this Woodland Edition is very cool. And if you're doing light off-roading, this makes a ton of sense. Now, when it comes to the price, we don't have a price. We put a little pressure on the Toyota executives, and they said it's going to be in that $30,000 range. We don't have a price on the plug-in hybrid yet, and again, that'll be available in 2026 in that first quarter. But there is a very long competitor list, starting with its main competitor, the Honda CR-V, the Mazda CX-50, Volkswagen Tiguan, Chevrolet Equinox, the Ford Bronco Sport, the Hyundai Tucson, Kia Sportage, Nissan Rogue, Subaru Forester, and the Mitsubishi Outlander. Now, it's really important that you take each of the vehicles for a test drive, decide what works for you, and remember, there are so many different trim levels. You've got the core trim level, you've got the Woodland for off-road, and if you're looking for sport, check out that Sport line, including that GR. Very cool choices. Again, the RAV4 is a big seller for a reason. If you have any additional comments or questions, put them down below all my social media. And a way to support me for our channel is down in the description. I'm Lauren Fix. Thanks so much for watching.